The final drop of AppSumo's Black Friday 2025 season has landed. Today, we are looking at 6 tools all about creating content smarter. I'm going to show you how each of these tools work in a minute, but first let's get an overview of the 6 tools that are included. We've got Logically, an academic-focused AI research assistant, Semdash, an SEO tool that hopes to rival Ahrefs or SEMrush. The 2023 tool of the year has returned. Neuron Writer is back. This allows you to create SEO-focused content. The 2024 tool of the year is back as well. Letterly is here. This is a text-to-speech dictation style app that'll transform your dictations into lists, emails, or really anything else you can think of. Vocable is back as well. This is an AI-powered content planner. It lets you create 30 days of content ideas in just a few clicks. And finally, this one is an AppSumo Plus exclusive. Eureka is back. This one's for the course creators or the people thinking about creating their first course. It helps you research, validate, and actually create and publish courses. I'm going to go through each one of these apps in a moment here, but first I want you to know that this video is not sponsored. I rely on your clicks. My link is down below in the description. It really helps me out a lot if you click that before making a purchase. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but AppSumo gives me a little kickback if you do so. Now, even though the drops are done, Black Friday is really just getting started. I'll have full coverage of other deals outside of the AppSumo space coming up on this channel starting on Monday. So make sure you get subscribed, turn on that notification bell if you want to stay up to date with all of the best software deals this Black Friday season. Even AppSumo themselves are not done with Black Friday. In fact, starting November 23rd, everything site-wide gets 10% off. That 10% off is going to last until December 2nd, unless you're an AppSumo Plus member, and then it goes all the way to December 5th. All right, let's get started with our first tool. This is Logically. Logically, by the way, used to be known as Afori. They changed their name to Logically. I think that was a smart move, a lot easier name to remember. Now, there's actually 3 tools bundled together here that all work together in a really intelligent way. First of all, we have a document writer. Then we have a reference manager and a research assistant. So the workflow might be to start in the research assistant to do some deep research, academic style research on certain topics. Then you can take the references that you find in that research and save them into your reference manager. Now, the reference manager can also have your own files added to it. So if you've got PDFs, things you want to upload, you can certainly do that. Then as you're writing, you'll be able to do citations directly to the content inside of your reference manager. Let me show you how this works. We'll start off with the research assistant, and we've got 3 different types of research we can do. We can do document retrieval. So this would search any of the documents that you've already uploaded to your reference manager. Or if you don't have any information to start with, you can do a semantic scholar search, which is going to search from over 200 million peer-reviewed papers. And finally, if you're not doing this for academic purposes, or you just need to do a regular old Google search, you can do deep research into Google searches as well. So for example here, I want to see how sauna and sleep are connected. So I've typed in sauna and sleep. I'm going to go ahead and do a search here. This is using Gemini Flash 2.5. There are a lot of other models available here. You can see that Gemini Flash is what they recommend for standard research. If you want to go deeper, they recommend Gemini Pro 1.5 or Gemini Pro 2.5. All right, so apparently my question about sauna and sleep doesn't have any studies that have been done on it, at least not that are published and accessible by their AI, but it did give me some semi-related results here. So let's just say that I found this article very, very interesting, or this paper interesting. I click on the little arrow over here, and then I can upload the paper. Now, what that actually means is they're going to grab the paper from this website and then upload it into my reference reference manager. And here is the document right here. It is now available for me to either just read, or perhaps maybe more excitedly, you can actually chat with it. So as far as a reading experience goes, I think it's actually quite good. We've got some annotation tools up here, so you can highlight text, you can highlight an area. So if I found this important, I could just highlight it, and then it's going to add that highlight over to my chat. Now I can ask the chat questions about what I've just highlighted right over here. It's got this handy feature over here to check for updates, which is quite cool. So if I've added a document and then later on that document gets updated, I can check to make sure I've got the most recent version by just clicking on that button and confirming, yep, this one is the most recent. Now, of course, as you add more notes or comments to yourself, it's going to get cluttered. So there is a very nice search built in right here. After you're done researching and annotating your documents, now it's time to begin creating our paper. The nice thing about this tool is that it's going to create an automatic bibliography for you as you go. It actually uses the Lexical editor, which is an open source project created by Meta, and it's a really nice editor here. So I can start writing, just typing whatever I like. If I want to add in something like a headline, there are slash commands just like you're used to seeing in Notion. Brings up these cards here, and I can easily choose what type of headline I'd like to add, or maybe embed an image, or even do a code block. As you are writing, there is tab to complete, very much like you might see if you're used to something like Cursor. So tab and it completes our document. And if you need to add a citation, you can always use the @ symbol to find all of your reference documents. Bring in the citation just by clicking Insert Citation, and it uses the correct format. So that is logically, there are 3 tiers available from AppSumo. Tier 1 does not get use of advanced AI. You only get the standard AI. With tiers 2 and 3, you do get advanced AI, but it is rate limited to either 20 calls per 3 hours or 50 calls per 3 hours. If logically looks like a good fit for you, I've got a link for it down below in the description. Next up is Semdash. This is an SEO tool. It hopes to compare with something like SEMrush or Ahrefs, although it starts at $69 and those other tools are hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per month. So how well does it stack up? Let's check it out. Now, this is a deep tool. There are a lot of features here. There's no way I'll get into all of them in this roundup video, but I can give you an overview. First of all, the tools are organized by category. We've got competitive research up here, so you can see what other websites in your niche are doing. Then there's keyword research that gives you ideas about what topics you could possibly blog about or include on your website and content. Then we've got backlink research, which tells you information about how many sites are linking to you. Then there's the SERP checker, which has some interesting tools here. This allows you to see what the search engine results pages look like either at different points in time or even geographically different positions on the planet. Of course, there is some AI SEO tools built in as well, some lead generation tools, and some integrations. This is primarily going to be Google Search Console, which once you create that integration, will bring in information about your website, which keywords you're ranking for, how many clicks you're getting, how many impressions you get, all of that very important info. Here's an example of what a competitive research domain overview might look like. So I've typed in AppSumo here. Let's say I was going to create a competing website to AppSumo, which I am not. But if I was, I could go into this tool and I could find out some information about how AppSumo is getting their traffic, where it's coming from, and even continue further down to figure out maybe some gaps in their content, ways that I might be able to steal some traffic from them. Now, with a website like AppSumo, it's going to be very difficult to do so. They've already got a ton of backlinks and a very, very strong domain rank. So no, I'm not planning that anytime soon. Here's a fun tool. This is the traffic estimate tool. Again, a competitive research tool. So you could type in one of your competitors here and find out approximately how much traffic they are getting. So I've just entered in ChatGPT, and I can sort this by location as well. So you can choose a particular country that you want to search for. It doesn't go any deeper than that. So you can't choose like a specific state in the United States or a specific province of Canada or anything like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and search for ChatGPT in the United States and see how much traffic they are getting. You can see that things dipped here for a little bit and just recently have spiked tremendously. There are several interesting keyword research tools here. I'm looking at keyword discovery, where I can type in a keyword and it's going to give me some information about how hard it might be to rank for that keyword. So I'm going to use vibe coding here. If I search for that, it's going to give me vibe coding as well as other similar terms here. I get a lot of information like how much search volume there is, what the competition is like, what the keyword difficulty is right over here, as well as backlinks and referring domains. So what that means is how many backlinks or referring domains do websites that rank for this keyword actively have. So it would tell me that if I wanted to rank for vibe coding from scratch, I am definitely not going to rank for that word. But if I sort by keyword difficulty, I can see the keywords that might be easier to rank for, but still have a decent amount of search volume, like vibe coding jobs. Maybe vibe coding is too specific. Well, then I'll head over to the long tail keyword section where I can enter a seed keyword, and it's going to give me some suggestions for longer keywords that are less specific, but might still have some good search volume. Let's try vibe coding again over here and see if we get any better ideas. The initial results look kind of the same. I've got vibe coding showing up as the first two results. Now there is a lot of filtering I can do here. It did give me 978 keywords, so there's probably a little bit more work that I'll need to do in order to find some gems. The next set of tools are all about backlinks, which means what websites are linking to other websites, one of the most important factors in the world of SEO. So you could research a domain, find out what websites are linking to that domain, and if they're a competitor, maybe you want to reach out to those linkers and find out if they'll link to you as well. Just a simple idea of how that tool might be utilized. Now, as I mentioned previously, there are a ton of features here. I can't possibly go into all of them in this roundup video, so I'll close out this Semdash section with just a couple of ideas. One, I think someone's probably going to ask, hey, how does this compare to ClickRank, which was part of Drop 2? And ClickRank and Semdash actually can cohabitate. They are very synergistic, meaning that ClickRank focuses mostly on catching mistakes with the metadata on your website, making it easier for search engines to understand your content. That's what ClickRank was all about. With Semdash, it's more about research and finding out what your competitors are doing and developing that broad overview SEO strategy rather than the technical SEO that is the code on your website. Now, my main question for Semdash is, where is their data coming from? I did research it in the Q&A section of the AppSumo comments, and it was a little unclear. They just said third-party providers other than using Google data directly, which is great. But if you compare this to something like Ahrefs or SEMrush, they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars scraping the entire internet constantly to keep the data as fresh as possible. So it's really hard to do an apples to apples comparison when we're looking at a tool that's $69 once versus something like SEMrush or Ahrefs, which can be thousands and thousands of dollars. As far as the plans go, they're pretty straightforward. You just get a set number of credits per month, depending on which tier you pick. You can go all the way up to tier 5, 20,000 credits. Back on tier 1, we just had 1,000 credits. For reference, something like a traffic estimate is going to cost you 100 credits versus a seed keyword search is going to cost you about 25 credits. So it can go pretty quickly. It's not like each search is a single credit. If you want to check out Semdash for yourself, there is a link down below in the description. Up next is Neuron Writer, another SEO tool. This time it's to help you create the actual content itself. Let me show you how this works. To get started with Neuron Writer, you're going to create a project for each website that you work on. I'm going to create one for my own website, daveswift.com. Go ahead and confirm your region as well as your language and hit create. Inside of each project, we get a content writer, a content planning tool, as well as a way to track performance in terms of linking up to Google Search Console. For the content writer, create a new query where it asks you what you would like to rank for. I'll start with lifetime deals and hit start. Next, Neuron Writer does an analysis of the keyword you chose. I get content competition right here, 100. This is going to be a very difficult keyword to rank for. I can see the search volume is high, but certainly not high enough to compete with a 100 score. I also get the cost per click. In the next step, Neuron Writer finds some competitors that are ranking for the same keyword. Now, the idea here is to select competitors that you'll want to use as a reference to create your own content. So I don't want any of these homepages. Chances are it's just going to be a lot of marketing copy. Remember, I'm trying to write a blog post here. So I'm going to choose uncheck all and just look through the list here and find articles that might be a good reference. Here's one from AppSumo. There's a Medium article, and a few others. Okay, I'm gonna go with 5 here, but I would probably choose more if I was creating this article for real. We'll choose next. And now we're at the heart of the tool, the content editor. This is where we can create our complete post and it'll let us know what keywords we need to add in and how we are doing compared to our competitors. Of course, there's AI built in as well. If I click on Neuro over here, I can use their long form content designer, and it's going to ask me a series of questions to actually generate an article. Okay, I've just filled out the content brief here, which includes a title, description, and content requirements. Now, in the next section, the tool has taken my brief and created a complete article outline. I can look this over, edit it as I need. There is AI assistance built in if I'd like, but I'm feeling pretty good about it, so let's proceed to the facts. With the facts, you can choose sources of truth that you want to use for your article. Choose extract facts and you can grab URLs, files, or enter in plain text here and use that as a sort of knowledge base to create the final article. I've selected a few links here. I'm going to choose extract from URLs. So now Neuron Writer has extracted information from those links I chose and inserted it into portions of the outline. I can change this if I like. If something is inaccurate, I can go through and read it, make any adjustments that are necessary. When I'm happy with the facts that have been inserted, I can click Generate Article. Now, Neuron Writer has come back with an initial draft of my article. I can choose Looks Good, continue in the editor, and proceed to write my full article. Now that we've got some content here, you can see what it looks like when it's fully populated. We get a nice little graphical overview of how many times we've used certain keywords. So if I'm in good shape here, it's going to turn green. However, if I've overused a certain keyword, it will turn red. And then I know I probably want to back off on using that phrase. Neuron Writer now adds placeholders for where images can go. So I can click here to insert an image or just have one generated by AI. It gives you a list of prompts to choose from. And if you're happy with any of them, just click over here to generate it in a particular style. If it looks good, you can insert it into your document. When you're done writing your article, you can export your document. It supports HTML exports. You can also export directly to WordPress. Now, many of these features, including WordPress export, are reserved for tier 3 and above. Once you get to tier 3, however, you'll get all of the features. Any higher plans are simply going to increase your limits. Neuron Writer now goes up to 7 codes, by the way. So if you had a max stack before and you want to increase your purchase, you can definitely do that. Next up is a speech-to-text app. This is Letterly, an AI-powered tool. It works on your phone as well as in the browser. Let me show you what it looks like. So this is the web interface for Letterly. I'm going to go ahead and start a recording right here. Web interface is great, but I really prefer to use Letterly on my phone. They have a great iOS app. It works really well. For me personally, I like to use Letterly just to ramble, to get my thoughts out, try to start organizing my day. You can see we get up to 90 minutes of record time here. So if I'm talking to myself for longer than 90 minutes, I've got a serious problem. And in fact, you can use Letterly with multiple people. It has multiple speaker support down here. I can click on this, turn it on, and it'll start to break out each speaker into its own dictation type of layout. You know what I mean. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording and it's gonna do the transcript here for me real time. So we're gonna see everything that I just said. I can tag this to organize it. So I'll call it like demo. And now it has got the tag demo. I can close that off and I can find everything related to that topic very easily later. Now, what's cool about this is we've got all of these prompts built in over here. So if it was a meeting, I could do my meeting takeaways. If I wanted a detailed summary, I could click that. What I'm going to do here is just create a list. So I'll choose list, and now it's going to take that rambling thing I just gave you and organize it into a nice list. The web interface is great, has a great iOS app. I like to ramble to get my thoughts out. It allows up to 90 minutes of record time. So everything you just heard me say is now in a nice bulleted list. Very, very fast, easy to use. Now, of course, if I'm not happy with whatever the AI spit out, I can rewrite it using either the original text or starting from the current version. So let's go back to the original text and we will do this a little bit shorter. There, now it took my rambling note and turned it into just a couple paragraphs. I could also translate things with Letterly. There's this little icon down here, and I can choose any language I would like to translate to. Let's do Italian. I'll click there, and now my rambling note has been translated into Italian. Short and sweet, that is what Letterly does. We can see the plans and pricing down here. The cool thing is you get all of the features on all of the plans, so 79 bucks is legit. You're gonna get lifetime access to this, unlimited recordings up to 90 minutes. If you want more than one device, go ahead and buy a bigger plan. You can go all the way up to 10 codes, which gets you 20 devices. And yes, you can share these devices amongst multiple people. So let's say you wanted to buy an 11 pack and share them amongst your wife and kids so they could use it on their iPads and phones and computers. Well, you could definitely do that. Oh, one more cool feature I want to mention here. After your recording is completed, you can send off the final document through Zapier or a webhook, which is great for automation. So you could send this off to Notion to capture your daily journal or whatever you want to do. Really, it's limitless. Next up is Vocable. This is an AI content planner. I do have a full-length review already published for Vocable. It is in the Black Friday playlist linked down below. The first step to using Vocable is to add your brand. If you provide it your URL, it will pull in all of the relevant information. I'm going to use the About page on my website and hit continue. So it automatically filled out my brand name, my brand description, core messaging, my audience, value proposition, tone of voice, industry, keywords and themes, and even gave me some topics here that I might want to use for content ideas. Reading through these, they're all very high quality. There's a few edits that I would make, but overall, very happy. It wouldn't take long to clean this up at all. With my brand established and I'm back on the dashboard, I can now create my content strategy. Simply select the platform you'd like to create for. Let's say I'm going to do a series of emails, and I can choose my content strategy here. Each strategy gets a goal, whether it's brand awareness, engagement, lead generation, or sales conversion. I'm going to choose brand awareness here, and I will select the brand that I just created and hit generate. Now my content plan is being created for me with very little effort on my part. Just about a minute later, and I've got a huge list of different ideas for content here. Like, it's really, really long. Now, I chose to only make email newsletters. I could have chosen multiple platforms to create for, but that was my interest at the time. Now I can view this in a Kanban view, which shows me the status of each piece of content. I can also see it in a calendar view for when things get scheduled. Back in the list view, what I'd want to do here is click into each brief, see the outline, make sure that everything looks good, and then I can actually generate the content over here by clicking on View Content. Now, my outline is going to be the foundation for how the content is actually generated, so I want to make sure that I do a good job of looking through that outline before choosing to generate the content. Here's what a document looks like inside of the editor. You can see it's a very normal word processor-like experience. There is some AI functionality built in, so I can highlight things and use AI to expand upon it. There's also document health over here, where I can see basically how well the document is written, very much like Neuron Writer, but not with an SEO perspective, right? So we're just getting kind of a general idea of how the article might perform, or in this case, the newsletter might perform. So there is some SEO features coming soon, but that's not going to be relevant to most social media posts. We don't really post on social media with SEO expectations. There's also this AI section over here where you can go ahead and see how the AI actually did at writing the article, whether or not it's going to be picked up as AI generated, which in this case, it kind of is. You can toggle this switch on to find out what sections are most AI written or most obviously written by AI. So this lighter color is going to be the definitely created by AI type of stuff. There's also full commenting in here. So if you want to collaborate with others, you can select areas and then leave a comment like change this. And then I get a little highlight where I can see the comments have been left. When you're done with your content, you can schedule it to be posted on social media, or you can export it as one of these file formats such as Word, PDF, or plain text. The tool currently integrates with WordPress, Webflow, Wix, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X. There are 3 license tiers available for Vocable. If you want to get all of the features, you will need to go up to tier 2. If you want to get unlimited brands and unlimited AI-powered campaigns, you'll have to go up to tier 3. And our last tool of this drop is Eureka. This one is reserved for AppSumo Plus members only. It's to help people research and create online courses. Let me show you how it works. There's really 2 sections to Eureka. There is the research section and the development section. In research, we are looking for ideas about what might be a profitable course and then finding information about what content to include in them. Then in the development phase, you're actually creating the course and going so far as to publish it using their platform. With the plans on AppSumo, Tier 1 and Tier 2 do not include video hosting. So if you do want to publish your own courses, definitely step up to Tier 3 so that you get the video hosting built in. Now, of course, you could always embed your videos from another platform, even something like YouTube, or you could grab an LTD from Gumlet. If you want to know more about Gumlet for hosting your videos, check out my Drop 1 video. Keep in mind that Drop 1 prices will increase on Monday, so you'll need to act quickly to get the best deals. Back over to Eureka. Let's say I was going to create a course on jujitsu. Well, I'm using their course research tool here, and I've just searched for jujitsu. It went ahead and searched over 260,000 courses and found only 23 on this subject. Now, there are still 40,000 people enrolled in those courses, and they only exist on a single platform, Udemy. The average sale price is $150, which is actually surprisingly high for a Udemy course. I think I've only spent like $15, $20 on courses there. So that is very interesting. That tells me right away there's definitely some opportunity here. And they even give you an opportunity score, which tends to agree with my initial assessment that demand is pretty good. Now I can see the trend of this topic over time. This is using Google Trends. It's going up slightly over time. So interest is rising on this topic. Someone out there could probably make some good money with an introductory jiu-jitsu course that they sold maybe on a platform other than Udemy, but down below I can see the actual courses that it found and estimated earnings for those courses. This one right here has the most number of students enrolled and it's made a lot of money, about $70,000. I can click into it, see the entire outline of the course, as well as the copy from the sales page. Now there is no images on this page, so if I wanted to see exactly how it was sold, they have got a link over to the Udemy course. There's actually a lot of really helpful info over here under the details. Yes, this is all available on Udemy, but it's a lot easier to find this way. Now I can see that there are 3,700 students here and the price is about 18 bucks. It's only an hour-long course and it hasn't been updated since 2014. Now, I want to keep an eye on this course, so I'm going to save it to my course library. Then I can tag it Jiu-Jitsu to keep things organized. There's also these two AI tools up here that are very interesting. We've got the gap analysis, which looks at the curriculum and looks for holes, places that maybe were not covered inside of the course that you could add in if you created a similar course to make it a more complete offering. There's also the review analysis, which looks at the reviews from the course, sees what people were unhappy with, and then again, you could fix those problems in your version of the course. Now with my search, I only got 23 results, but with some other terms, you might get hundreds or thousands of results. So if you want to narrow things down even further, there's some additional filters up here, such as a niche filter, a topic filter, or even a platform filter if you want to find courses on a particular platform. Speaking of which, we also have a platform research tool where you can do research on a particular course platform like Creative Live, Coursera, Skillshare, LinkedIn Learning. You can see what's doing really well on those platforms. There's a similar tool here to research books. I'm going to skip that for now, but if you're looking to create a book, that might be a good option for you. Then we've got the title keyword planner. If you're looking to create a title for a course and you want to know if there's any other courses out there with the same name, or just to get some ideas for how a search volume is for certain phrases, well, you might want to start here. It's a nice little SEO tool baked right in. So let's say my course is going to be called Mastering Jiu-Jitsu for Beginners, and I'm searching for that. It's going to find out if there's any courses with the exact same title, and there's not. So that's good if I wanted to use that title. Now let's go ahead and create our course. So I'm over here in the content planner and I can create my new course idea. I've entered in my course title here. I'm going to use AI to write the introduction. There we go. My intro has been written. Sometimes it's hard to do the intros, harder than the actual course itself, because you want to get people interested and pumped up. And even if you're an expert on the subject, phrasing things just right in an introduction might be kind of tough. So moving on here, we can add in our sections to our courses. You can generate sections if you want to use AI. I don't recommend using AI to create complete courses, but it can do that for you if you like. Now, when you're actually ready to publish your course, you can click right over here to export to their course publisher, which they call the Rapid Publisher. Here you can add your own videos, add in a description, and you'll be off to the races. There's a nice little planner over here where you can add a thumbnail for your course, add all of your sections and different lessons inside of those sections, and they even have AI to generate quizzes based on the content inside of your course. So that is Eureka. Like I mentioned before, most of the plans are going to give you access to all of the features. It's just going to be a matter of how many workspaces you get, as well as if you want video hosting, you'll have to go up to a higher tier. So there it is. I have officially covered every single deal AppSumo released during this year's Black Friday drop sequence. But I am not done yet. I will be back again tomorrow with my annual tier list where I rank all of these deals from S tier all the way down to F. I hope I have earned your click. If you want to support my content, I've got my link down below. Also, hit me up in the comments. It helps out with the algorithm, and I'd like to help you out. If you've got any questions about LTDs or really anything else related to the topics you see on this channel, hit me up with a question. Like the video if you liked it, hit subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow with that tier list.